WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
I pledge to stay drug-free.
I plan to stay drug-free.
I pledge to stay drug-free.
I pledge to be drug-free.
I pledge to stay drug-free.
Your personal change coach and co-host for Expose Under the Sun. Today we have a great show coming up, but first I want to acknowledge our team. I want to acknowledge and thank our awesome engineer, Patrick, who is making all this thing happen in the background. I want to thank our co-host, Darren Griffin, who you'll see next Tuesday, our executive producer, Sharon Dumas, and the sponsor of Expose Under the Sun, Detroit Native Sun News. So thank you today and welcome. As always, I always start this conversation with understanding that this is a manifesting year. 2022 is the year. This is the year for you to have what you want. But that means that you have to speak what you want. So we're going to practice doing that. So today I want you to make sure that you stay aware of what you say, and that's what you want, okay? Secondly, I want to continue our challenge to find 10 ways to find your joy. So today I'm going to give you a few of mine, and then we're going to get to our awesome guest today, Dr. Chandra Carr. So the three things that I want to share with you really quickly about finding your joy is to have a sensory experience. So three of them that I'm sharing with you that are my favorites are, one, I cook with fresh basil and fresh rosemary. The taste in your food and the smell as it's cooking and as you're preparing it is really soothing for the soul. That's part of soul food, all right? The second one is that I get myself flowers every week. I like fresh flowers, and so after a couple of days and they've soaked up all the sun and oxygen or carbon dioxide, I guess, in your house, after you speak and love on them, they kind of fade. So then the next week, you just get some fresh ones or grow them in your own garden. That's another great way to find your joy, gardening. And the last one is essential oils. How you use, find, explore, and experiment with essential oils is a great way to find your joy. So these are three ways that I have my sensory experience, which I am sharing those things with you. So give them a try. Add them to your list of 10. All right, so today our topic is practical ways to reframe mental wellness. And in reframing that mental wellness, we have today our special guest, Dr. Chandra Carr of Miller Carr Human Services. So I welcome you, Dr. Carr, to the show today.
Thank you so much, Heather, for having me here.
Yes. So I really want to start with the question. So my first question to you is around, how do you find your joy?
You know, finding your joy is so important for so many reasons. It is that pick me up when you are down.
Yes.
So you have to really make sure you identify and you know it, because when there are triggers come and those things occur that can cause you to feel all out of whack, those joys is what you hold on to keep you going. So for
Right.
me, my joy is definitely travel. I love to travel. It's a relaxation there, and it's a spirit of fun. Even if you're going to travel for work, just to get out, do something else and something different, is very, very enjoyable. Another joy I have really is helping people and being that person that others can depend on to get what they need. So if they call me and say, hey, Dr. Carr, I got this problem, or a friend of mine had this issue, I love to be that person that can help. Oh, I know this person that can help. Oh, let's try this. And so that is really joyful and fulfilling for me, and that makes me happy and be able to pick me up, just to be able to assist others when they are in need.
So you mentioned a key. I want you to go back for a moment and tell us about what do you do because of the work that you do? I imagine you have a certain level of stress. You're a wife, you're a mom. I know that you, in the work that you do, you still have stress. How do you relieve that stress?
Relieving the stress is very key and important because if you don't let it go, it can hurt you both physically, emotionally, and mentally. And physically, it can cause you to be tired. It can cause you to have pains in your body. And emotionally, it can cause you to be disgruntled with people that you love. And it can cause you to lash out unintentionally. But again, I tell everybody, words are like toothpaste. So once they come out, they can't go back in. As much as you want to apologize, they cannot go back in. So you have to be very cognizant with the things that you are saying to people. So when that stress comes, you got to be able to let it go and get it out right then. And so one thing that you can definitely do is write it out. And I know people are like, oh, I don't feel like writing. Well, you could type it out. That's another way to right. But you need to be able to get it out. And once you're typing out or writing out, you really feel the release as you are going across the paper or going across the keyboard. That really does help. Another way is to contact a friend or a confidant that can be a sounding board for you. And so where you can just release it. My husband is really awesome at being my sounding board. He really sits there and listen. And so I can yell at him. I can scream at him. I can go off on him like I might want to do in other places. And he receives it and he allows me to let it out. So when it's out, I can then move on and continue with my day in a positive way. But the whole point is to allow that stress to come out in a way.
That's awesome. It's so important in our journey to know when to release and how to release, and then to know that there is a healthy way to do it. So maybe you don't have that person. What you might have is the television. Maybe it's one of those characters on TV that you can pause it and then go off on them about whatever it is that you may have some issues with. That's another way to do it because they're already the villain, right? They're already the villain on TV. You might as well just wear them out with what you feel. So, and another way is I call it a passion pillow. So use the pillow. So when you're upset and you want to punch something or someone, punch the pillow. It can take it. Just do it in a safe way where, you make sure it's not near anything hard behind it. Maybe you wouldn't do it on the bed or something like that. But it's important to be able to have that important outlet. So thank you for bringing those up too. So my next question for you is around just insight around the mental health and wellness field. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe, there are things that we know about mental health and mental wellness, but what would you think are some things that we may not know?
Some things that we need to keep in mind is that everybody deals with mental health concerns, and it's very important that everybody has a positive mental wellness. We all deal with sorts of depression, sadness. We all deal with anxiety when we're anxious about something. And the key is how we handle or respond to those things when they occur. And so having good tips, having the ability to know yourself, and like I stated before, those triggers, what may cause you to feel anxious, what may cause you to feel depressed. And once you know what those causes are, you allow yourself to either stay away from those things or those people that may cause it, or know how to combat those things right when they occur so that they don't fester and go for a long period of time. When we don't deal with things right away when they happen, that's what causes more drama and problems in our life. And that's where the stress then comes in, because we never dealt with the situation before. So we want to make sure when those things occur, we're dealing with it right then and right there, or as soon as possible as we can. But a rule of thumb, you don't ever want to go to bed angry. You don't ever want to go to bed upset. So even if you up to 2 in the morning, figure it out before you go to bed of how to make it work, or having a conversation with that person if you can. But you want to try to deal with that stressful situation or that issue before you go to bed, so that it won't continue to bother you.
So at what point do we reach out for professional help?
Once you get to a point where you cannot, you feel like you don't have the skill or the tools to make it happen, then you definitely need to reach out for help. And that can be on the very first time. It doesn't have to be 2-3 times of dealing with something before you figure you can't handle it. Whatever that situation is, and that's again going back to knowing yourself, whatever that situation is, and if you know that you are not equipped to handle it, please feel free to reach out. There is such a negative stigma about asking for help. And that's what we need, help. We all need help. We all need assistance for everything, because we don't know everything and we have not been privy to all information. And so there are people, key people in this world that can help us be successful. And so we need to reach out and touch them.
Thank you. And so while you are sharing that, can you also share your information? So tell our audience how they can reach out to Miller Carr Human Services for some support.
Sure. So again, my name is Dr. Chandra Carr, Miller Carr Human Services. We are at www.millercarr.org. We're at .org, and you can go to our website. You can leave us an email, any comments, and our phone number and address is on there as well.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to ask her again by the end of the show to tell us around how we can connect with her, because she is amazing. And if you don't have your own mental health resource, then there are lots to offer, but this is a great place to start. And if it's something that Miller Carr may be not able to do, then you can find, I'm sure they will offer you some recommendations. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so we want to make sure that everybody has a resource. That's really important. And so I know some of the places that you can go are United Way has a 211 line. There are some emergency hotlines, as a matter of fact, on our website, because we've been dealing a lot with the increase in suicidal ideation, so having suicidal thoughts and things like that, and succumbing to stress in ways that we don't know how to handle. But we see, a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And so we want to make sure that you have access to that. So we'll make sure that we share that as well. So I do want to talk a little bit about your backstory, though. Tell us a little bit about how you came into the mental health field. Was that something you always wanted to do?
So I actually started at Michigan State as a business major, my freshman year, and that wasn't working so well for me. And so I never forget one of my friends, she actually got the catalog out from Michigan State. And you know how back in the day that was. They don't even have catalogs anymore.
Right.
But we went through the catalog to try to find some things that I was really interested in. And so my heart and my passion has always been for children and families in the community, always making sure that they are equipped to be successful within their environment. And so my undergrad degree is in family community service. I then went to U of M and obtained a master's in social work, and I also have a PhD in counseling. And so it has allowed me to have a broad range of helping people, because again, that's what I truly, truly enjoy and love to do. And so these different areas allowed me to work in the community, in the jails, in schools, foster care systems, you name it. And so my true love is integrated care. So this is the fusion of physical health services with behavioral health or mental health services as well. So I have been able to create various clinics in various communities that allow both a physical health and a mental health component, because when you're working with people, you have to heal them from the top to the bottom, inside and out. You can't pick and choose parts. And so that's why it's so important that these two avenues are fused together to help make the person successful.
I can't recall hearing integrated. Say it again.
Integrated care.
Integrated care.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. That's almost looking at the mind, body, and spirit.
Every
approach,
every
right?
aspect, absolutely, absolutely. And so, we make sure that, as you stated, Heather, that everybody has the resources to get help on both sides of the spectrum. So if we're working with someone that may have diabetes, that and they're not able to control their diabetes like they want, that can cause depression for them and cause them to be down. They may not be able to function in the community as well. And so we're helping them both with that depression, helping them regulate their diabetes, helping them to eat better. So all those things encompass it to help make them have a better life.
So, do you think what other things impact wellness, like mental wellness? Like, so we talked about being active to a degree, finding the things that bring you joy, um, relieving things that bring you stress. But what do you think that maybe some other things that people tend to experience around mental wellness that may be something that we can help people prevent by knowing ahead of time or just being aware?
I think it's very important that we understand that these type of things can happen anywhere, anytime. I think knowing information or having it in your pocket, so to speak, for when it does occur is very helpful. You have to get out and live life. Like, I stress that to all my clients, no matter what age they are. And COVID has stopped us a little bit from doing that, but our creativity can allow us to expand upon that. So, enjoy different classes, even if they're online. Pick up a new hobby, learn something that or a topic that you've never been exposed to before. I remember when COVID first started, I was very interested in cooking. And so I can cook to survive, to live. And I think most of us could do that. But to go a little bit further, and so I was able to get cookbooks. I learned different instruments in the kitchen. I work with different types of produce and proteins. And I never thought to do that, but now here's COVID and it's giving me the time to do that. And it's allowed me to keep my joy and my happiness. So learning something new, engaging in something different that you've never done before. And it also gives you a new skill set that you may not have had before, or it can also promote something that you didn't even know that was in you, that you now have tapped into. So those type of things help for sure.
That's awesome. I think about when you're speaking, and you did mention some things that were your passion. Your passion was to help. Do you feel like a lot of us have different belief systems? So do you think, where does that come from? Where did that passion come from? Because it had to have an origin. Either maybe you saw it growing up, or it was something that triggered that becoming a passion for you. What do you think that was?
Absolutely. The things that we encounter in our life definitely helps to promote the things that we do and the way that we do it. And so for some people, their religion, their spiritual belief is a major part of their lives. And we should all have something that we hold on to and we believe that is true, because it does help with our success, both mentally and physically. And being able to, utilize that to drive home your success is so vital, it's so key, it's so important. And so I stress to people, don't hold back when you feel it. Allow yourself to embrace it, whatever that may be. Utilize that curiosity, utilize those feelings that you have to move forward and to keep progressing, because if you hold back and you stop it, you never know where you could go and what you can do. And so we all have endless possibilities of where we can be and what we can do in our life. And so don't hold your own self back from progressing and moving on and doing better.
That's awesome too. So I just want to chat a little bit. So I know I kind of got all of my formal questions out of the way, but I do want to chat a little bit about, let's see, I wanted to talk about a little bit more about your travel. So can you tell us some of the exciting places that you may have had a chance to de-stress?
I have a goal to get all the pages in my passport filled up within the next 10 years. That is my goal. And so I have been to places like Cancun and things like that. I've been to Puerto Rico. I'm going to Colombia and Brazil soon. And so just even traveling just within the United States is fun. You know, for New Year's, my family and I just went to Ann Arbor, and that was great. And that was our little 3-day travel, and we had fun in our little hotel and watched the ball drop, and we were excited. So, you know, it doesn't have to be vast around the world, just getting out, you know, just being able to get out of your home and do something is the joy and the love right there, because when you travel, you're able to relax, you're able to catch up with your thoughts, you're able to catch up with you. And again, knowing you is so important to being able to have success health wise and behaviorally.
So, do you, within your work, do you see how family connections sometimes can be stressful?
Absolutely. You with them all day, right? So it's definitely can be stressors there, and the everyday with them, school, picking them up, dropping them off, you know, dance class, gymnastics class, you know, whatever different types of thing that goes on. And then two, trying not to be so busy that you don't spend time with them and have that one-on-one with them, and be able to build that relationship. One thing to help with that, though, is definitely scheduling and itemizing that time. It's so important. And I'm just anal, so I have to put everything in my calendar. So, and I do have in my calendar, you know, for me and my daughter to spend time on this day. Me and my husband, we do date nights at least once a month. You have to be able to cultivate those relationships that you have already started with people and keep them going. And so you have to give them some time. And so you have to make sure you cut things off. You know, for me, work stops at 4. That's it. I'm not answering no calls or no emails because it's from my family from 4 until it's time to put them in the bed. So, you know, you have to make those adjustments too. And that will help decrease the stress as well when you set limits for yourself too in those time frames.
Right. That's so awesome. I really hadn't thought about what we said in my family. We set Wednesdays as family night.
Awesome.
So after 6:30 for me, I had said, okay, from 7 until we have 7 to 9. So trying to come up with different ideas, because somehow the ideas of what to do fall on me.
Right.
So we have gone bowling. That was really interesting. Because it's really just the three of us. It's my 14-year-old, my husband who's 56, and then it's me, and we are at the bowling rink, the bowling alley, sitting next to some young adults, maybe 19 to 25, something like that. And they're bowling and they're doing stuff that I'm looking like, wow, I'm just having a hard time holding the ball and getting it from not going in the gutter. So it was just it was fun to see how my husband, how he was reacting, how my son was reacting, just to the environment. It was a lot of people there. It was very difficult to find a bowling alley that wasn't a bowling night. But it was really fun. So trying to set up that time to just have that family time is really important. So I really value you sharing that. So as you are planning, one of the key things Dr. Carr mentioned was to plan time for those people who you care about. So that it's not ongoing work, it's not ongoing stress, it's not ongoing everything but building value in your life. So the people you love help you to build value in your own life. So I know we're always talking about joy, so that's another way to look at it. So help to build joy in your own life by planning something out. Actually, so even if it's just one thing that you do for that week, plan out that joy for you, plan it out for your family. I think that's very key. So I thank you for that insight. Another area that I wanted to just kind of key in on what you said was about understanding that mental wellness is something that everybody has to invest in. And there are ways that we can do it by our time. There are ways that we can do it by the new activities that we explore. There are ways to do that in just your everyday life. And it doesn't have to be something so big as in, visiting another country. not limited, but if you can set goals for it.
Right.
And because remember, this is a manifesting year. So when you set that goal, when you say what you want, you have to keep up that thought. You have to keep up the actions to support what you say. So if you say that you want to travel, then you should get a calendar out. You should set a date for the time that you want to make that trip or travel, and then work towards that event, work towards that goal. That is one of the words that you used earlier was about success.
Yes.
How do we build success in our lives? This is one of the ways that we build success. We set those goals, even if they're small. So I like the idea about incorporating new techniques in the kitchen. I cook for my family. Even though I have long days, it really is interesting because I will cook sometimes breakfast and dinner at the same time. I know if we have a long day, because I don't want to have to always have takeout.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm one that is having a difficult time releasing fried chicken. I'm really having a difficult time doing that. So, but even just trying to do something different. So, air frying is a
Yes.
big new alternative, which is it's not bad. It's still something to get used to. Do you do air frying?
I love air frying. It's so quick and easy. It's so much easier for me. And I discovered air frying through COVID. That was one of my tools, new tools that I utilize. And it is healthier. It tastes good. You can just put almost anything in the air fryer. And so I invested over Christmas a Ninja grill. So
What's a Ninja grill?
yeah, it's just like, I mean, when you put your hamburgers on there, it's just like the grill outside. And so
Wow.
that was the premise to get it, because we really enjoy barbecue in my house, and my husband does it all the time. And he is sometimes one of those people you see outside in the winter because we enjoy it so much. And so we thought to buy the Ninja grill to be able to help with that, and burgers and hot dogs, things that have to have a grill to taste good.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we definitely did that, and that was awesome. It was awesome.
A Ninja grill. That's the first time I heard of that. So I'm just kind of getting acclimated with the air fryer and the idea of the air fryer. I think I put some salmon and hot dogs in the air fryer.
Yeah, put your chicken in there. So if you do the wingding chicken, you still season it and everything, but put your wingding chicken in there. Just push the chicken button. There, I mean, it comes out so good.
You know what?
You don't even have to try to program it. Just the pictures that are on there for those types of meats, that's what you push.
Well, that makes perfect sense now, but I think I missed the mark on that one. So, Dr. Carr, before we leave, I want to make sure you share with our audience and our listeners again how to get in touch with you if they want and they need additional resources. Can you share that again?
Yeah, so again, we are at www.millercar.org. Please go to our website. You can leave an email on there. Our phone number is on there. You can leave a message on there, and you can see the other things that we do in the community. So we are there for anyone, children and families, in whatever environment. We want to be able to help them thrive.
Thank you. You're such an awesome person. So it's so good to have you in my circle. It's such a blessing to have you here on the show. Our show, Expose Under the Sun, is actually hosted by Detroit Native Sun News. And if you need advertising or you need to connect with community in a different way, because it's a non-traditional newspaper, do reach out to Valerie at 313-457-5944. Again, that's Valerie at 313-457-5944. And that is for Detroit Native Sun News, who is the sponsor of Expose Under the Sun. So again, our co-host, Darren Griffin, will join you next Tuesday. And the next Tuesday, I'll be back with my challenge for finding your joy, for 10 ways to find your joy. We're looking to do that every month. And then add to that as we continue this list so that we have a year full of things that we can manifest. And so when you're in your joy, your space of joy, you also are at a higher vibration, which means that you're at a higher frequency and that illness is behind you as opposed to with you and around you, because you're experiencing joy, which takes you to a different place. So we want to make sure that you have those strategies for finding your joy. Quickly, I'm just going to reveal my 3 that I talked about earlier. The first one is I cook with fresh basil and rosemary. The second one is that I give myself fresh flowers every week. And the third one is that I experiment and explore with essential oils. So finding that sensory experience may be one of the ways that you can find your joy too. So again, Dr. Carr, it's so amazing to have you here. Thank you for all you do in our community. Thank you for all you do as an example to your children and your family. That's really important that we set the example, we set the tone. And although, we do have a lot that we deal with every day, including this changing environment that we have, just what we see nationally, what we see on TV, what we see on media can sometimes be discouraging. When you're feeling that way, the time to reach out is right then. So if you don't have your system in place, you may suffer longer than is necessary. So we want to make sure that you have a source of support. If you don't have that in your network, please reach out to www.millercar.org. Miller Carl Human Services. So make sure you reach out and get that information. If you don't get it today, you can always Google. That information is there for you. And you can always reach out to me on my website at yourinspiredjourney.com. That's inspired with a D, journey.com. All the information that you need for resources are there for you as well. So we again come to the end of our show, and it's so amazing to be here with my guest, Dr. Chandra Carr, and in the studio with our engineer who's been holding us up for quite some time. So I'm so grateful for him being here and helping us to navigate this whole show. So again, if you're looking for resources and you want to advertise with us, please advertise with Detroit Native Sun News at 313-475-5944. Give Valerie a call and she'll make sure that you get what you need. So we are happy to see you, and until next time, let the journey continue.